And now for the Q&A.
Here is a question from Cameron.
Hi, Cameron.
Cameron says, Ethan, after hearing you talk about your childhood and being restricted, I'm curious if you have any thoughts on how to help a child who overeats. My 9-year-old son overeats whenever he can. He's also already struggling with body dysmorphia. I'm at a loss on how to help him without furthering his body dysmorphia. Feels like a failure as a father since I struggle with these same issues myself. Any tips would be greatly appreciated, or you could point me in an episode that discusses childhood nutrition.
Yeah, kids are really, really tough. And I don't know. I would I would really try to as much as possible not put the kids' attention on it, and then whatever changes you could make that are not going to be within his awareness, you could make those changes. Are you guys? Do you have? Are you? At 9, he's not really making his meals. I wouldn't think. Um, I don't think I was cooking at 9. I don't think any of my kids were really cooking at 9. So, are you serving him lots of fruits and vegetables and lean proteins and you know carbohydrates that aren't just sugar and highly palatable? Um, I think if that is my instinct with kids, is that we present them the food that they're going to eat, and like you know there are lots of instances where we have to say no to our kids. I've been to Disneyland with my kids and heard the pitch for why they needed all the toys and all the sugar, and there's going to be a lot of no's. And at 11, no, it was even younger than that. At 9, Clementine wanted her own apartment, and this was a very serious conversation where she presented my wife and I with options of apartments we could rent for her. And like we just said, we kind of like were like, that's so ridiculous, and tried to reason with her a little bit of like, how are you going to get to school? Well, you're going to have to come and pick me up and take me to school. And what if we're late to work? Well, then she had it all figured out. So I understand, like, there are going to be foods that will be more difficult for a 9-year-old to overeat, like celery. How much celery can that kid overeat? How many apples can he overeat? How much chicken breasts can he overeat? Now maybe he's the one kid who's going to sit and dig into chicken breasts until he's blue in the face, but I would suspect, Cameron, that in your house there are a lot of foods that are going to be really easy to overeat, or that you're serving him foods that are really easy to overeat, or that he has access to foods that are really easy to overeat, and then we get back to square one, where then it becomes a thing of like having to have a conversation and reasoning with a 9-year-old on why they shouldn't be doing something that they don't maybe have the wherewithal to analytically choose not to do at this point. So I would say, without making a big deal out of it to him, uh, I I don't know the circumstances with which you live. If you live with a wife, if he has a mom with you, if you're a single father, if you have to have this conversation with somebody and go like, let's make a change in what we're providing for him and what he has access to, and maybe that means we don't get to eat chips and mac and cheese and Chef Boyardee and stuff like that. And we don't even keep it out. And it's work. It's a lot of work, because like cooking every day is hard. Packing him lunches every day is hard, but that might be what it takes. I would say, without him feeling that he's done something wrong, like, you're overeating, so we can't have chips. That's not the right thing to do. I don't think. Uh, you're overeating, so X is off limits, but it's still here in the house. That, for me, was my downfall, because I would just start sneaking it and created a bad relationship with my parents where I was lying to them. That's my suggestion. It is It's an awful suggestion because it really is a lot of work for you to do. And it's a lot of work to do that's going to be frustrating at times. That I also, my recommendation suggests that you don't even let him know that you're doing it. You know, just slowly move the highly palatable food out of your house and slowly move the more nutrient dense food in that maybe is less palatable. And I'm not saying to like make his food taste bad so he doesn't want to eat it, but like serve the kid broccoli and chicken and some rice and don't cover the rice in fat and see how much he's going to eat. You know, don't make the rice super, don't pour sweet, sugary teriyaki sauce on it. How much of that meal is he going to overeat? That's my suggestion.
Yeah. Such good advice. You're coming from experience, Cameron. As a parent, I totally get it. It's don't feel like a failure because parenting is not easy. So just that you're aware of it and you want to do something is so awesome. So I admire you as a fellow parent.
Yeah, and again, I'm not saying it all has to be organic and grass fed, and you don't have to go to Whole Foods. You can get tons of, this is not mean it has to be at some great expense. You can eat this way for less money than you spend on something like fast food. Truly, like there's been a lot of evidence. You can get frozen vegetables in big 5 pound bags. You can get chicken breast for not that much money. You can get lean ground beef at every supermarket just about in America. Um, there are ways to do this. You can do this. A gigantic 20-pound bag of rice at the Asian grocery store is not that expensive. And then you make your rice. You could make a week's worth of rice in a day. And I promise you, rice on its own without the addition of fat or sugar is not something that any 9-year old I've ever met is going to overeat.
Yeah. So true. Awesome. Well, thank you for your question, Cameron. And to anybody out there who has a question, you know what? You can email us with it. It's hello@americanglutton.net.
Hello.